really don't know if I'm gonna, actually release this video or not. I tend to, I tend to do videos, and sometimes I release them, sometimes I don't. You know, I don't know. But this video is gonna be about being a complicated person. Um, Most people, usually only have one side to them. Uh, and then you have people like me who have multiple sides to them. And for me, anyways, I have a humorous side, I've got a sensitive side, a romantic side, an aggressive side, and then I have, if you're into astrology, you might, if you know anything about Scorpio, I have that Scorpio side about me, and I got all these sides, all these, I wouldn't call them personalities, but different moods, different ways of thinking, and sometimes they conflict with one another, because sometimes if I'm, thinking like an Aquarius, I might think big picture, but if I'm thinking like a Pisces, I think more sensitive, like, and then if I'm thinking like an Aries, like my Aries rising, then it's a totally different thing than the other two. And then you got my Scorpio side, which I don't really show that much, and there's a reason for that. When I consider Scorpio my most serious side. When I talk like this, when I'm serious, I'm closer to that side. When I'm, making the voices and doing the jokes, that's to me in my Aquarius man speaking. But when you have so many different sides to you, people tend to not know how to read you, or how to figure out who you really are as a person. And for me, all of those sides is me. Um, the problem with having those many sides is not having those many sides to you. I mean, have a dynamic personality, but somebody who's kind of only has one personality to them, all the time. They might have, of course, people get angry and sad, and but if you just generally are not that complicated of a person, you're easier to read. But if you're not, and you're like me, you're harder to read. But the problem is knowing. If you're, like me, and very complicated, have a complicated personality, knowing when and where to show what side. And a lot of times I show my Aquarius side. Sometimes I show my Pisces. I try my hardest not to show my Aries rising until somebody is seriously wanting to screw around with me. Then I get angry, and and do I have my little outbursts? Yes, and I try really hard to control them, and I'm pretty good at it, but knowing when and where to do it, because if I'm relying too much on, say, my Aquarius side, which I honestly I'd probably have, I joke, but if you joke too much, people don't get to see the other sides of you, and they automatically assume that you're just that. And the thing with my Scorpio side of me, I honestly feel is the deepest part of me. And I don't show it to really anybody. Unless they mean a lot to me. I mean, we're talking deep, deep, deep connection. And I keep that stuff hidden. I put a lot of stuff about myself on Facebook. But a lot of the stuff I haven't put on Facebook. There is a lot of stuff that you're not going to know until you know me personally. I don't give away all of my secrets. I've given away things that I thought that would help others, that I felt comfortable sharing, but there are a lot of things on the inside that I don't feel comfortable sharing. And so you may not ever, unless you really want to get to know me, unless you really talk to me, you're not really gonna see a whole lot of that internal Scorpio. Now I'm changing into what I used to be, in 2007. I dressed very much like a Scorpio. I still do, but I really, I go look back at old pictures of me, and I really dressed like a Scorpio, like black and sleek and stylish. I was into that stuff, and a lot of stuff happened, and I didn't really grow out of it, but it's not the point. The point is you got to show your sign, all your different sides to you, equally, or at least show them in the right way. And for me, I'll be honest, it gets hard sometimes to know which side should I show to somebody, because I have to show all the sides. For a person to really understand who I really am, I have to show those sides, all of them. And that one side, the Scorpio side of me, since nobody really is going to see that, they're not going to know the full me. But as far as the other sides that I have, I really do need to show all sides for a person to say, okay, when he's emotional, he's like a Pisces. When he's very intellectual, he's like an Aquarius. And when he gets angry, he's kind of he's like an Aries. A lot of people don't know how to piece those pieces together and say this person is all of those things. And I'm assuming it's a Pisces thing, because of what I've read up on Pisces, it seemed to me that that's what I've gotten. Pisces, I know Chris Strickland, said that they're chameleons, and he's not the only one that has said something like that. I've heard that before, and so I get that point that being a Pisces, it's hard to read because I don't know. I'm not. There's a lot of stuff about astrology I still don't know, and I really need to study on it. But my point is, if you're a complicated person and you have all these sides to you, then you need to show them all. And if you're like me and you have that one side, like for me, the Scorpio side, that you do not see, or do not show, people don't see it. Well, okay, keep that one side of you hidden, but the rest of you needs to, everyone needs to see all of you, not just one side of you. And sometimes, like I said, I sometimes think that I tend to use the Aquarius too much. I don't goof around all the time, but I don't, I need to show the Pisces more, definitely. Not so much the Aries rising. I already did that with the Angry Armchair Philosopher, channel. Some people might like it. It's not something I like to do all the time. In fact, even with I don't know. Just lately I feel very on the inside. I'll be honest. I feel very, very, very serious on the inside. On the outside, I goof off. Not too much, but I still do my voices. I still love humor. I'm not trying to get rid of the Aquarius. I just feel as if I need to kind of take a break from it and be serious, a lot more serious. A lot of things require me right now to be a lot more serious. So if you listen to this, it's like 9 minutes into this, and if you're listening to me rambling, I thank you. But my point is, if you're like me, show all your sides. Don't just rely on one. And if you don't have that many, well, then just still be yourself. Just either way, be yourself. Be your whole self. If you got one side of you, be that. And if you got multiple, well, be all that. But don't just show one side of yourself. So, anyways, if you listen, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you later.